So, Aaron, how did you get into all that trouble with the government?
Well, it really wasn't me getting in trouble with the government. It's more like a conspiracy. You know, everybody talks about a conspiracy, but mine is really on paper. Started with my dad, Charles. 2001, we were in Hanover. I was in Hanover, Hanover High School, I believe. Yeah, I was in Hanover High School, and my dad was on interview Washington D.C. He was going to be the driver for the driver for the President of the United States of America. He didn't get the job. The other dude got the job and died in the Pentagon. Rest in peace, you know what I'm saying, for his family. But nothing joke with. I never mess with my government, so I never really mess with my Constitution. I never go against my brothers and sisters, what they're protecting, what they stand for. But so that's what he was doing, and then and then he got another job to go to Afghanistan to deal with some warlords. I don't know really much about it. But anyways, a lot of money came up missing, I guess, and a lot of money came up missing, and they blamed my dad for it. Some high ups couldn't get blamed for it because their names are too high up. So basically, my dad took the rap. So he's in prison for doing what he did right now, white collar prison, and so I was lost in life. I didn't know really what to do. I wanted to be a motivational speaker. I wanted to open up a business. I wanted to have a second chance carpet cleaning business, which I did in Atlanta, Georgia, at the age of 17 and 18. It didn't go very far, but the thing about it is I strive and I kept on going with it. I served Kirby vacuum cleaners. I was very good at selling Kirby home care systems, not vacuum cleaners. I apologize, Kirby, because they're not vacuum cleaners. They are home care systems. But, and I was really good at that, but it wasn't me selling the vacuum cleaners. It was more like it sold itself, and I was selling myself on what I stood for in life and what they stood for in life and what they were going through. And I listened to people. That's all I did. I was taught that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, to shut your mouth and listen. And I just listened to people's problems, and I knocked on thousands and thousands upon doors in states and cities everywhere, and I just asked what the people's problems, and I passed God through me and through them, and we fellowship with one another. And I left them a great present in their house. I'm grateful that they're gonna have that for 20 years and never have to buy another home care system again. So thank you, Jonathan Davis, for that. And in Georgia, look them up for Kirby Home Care Systems. I really do appreciate that, and Artist Web, and I really do appreciate you for mentoring me, and I really do appreciate you for everything that you guys done for me. But anyways, so I just kept on walking. I've always had a dream. I've always kept on talking. I've always tried to solve problems. I like systems, so I like, systematic thinking is easy to me periodically because everything came off of theology and philosophy and religion, so everything mixed together is really a basically active living theory. So I just made up my own scientific method to keep on walking through Earth, and so I joined the Navy. I was really lost. I was homeless. I didn't have nowhere to go. My family, and I didn't want to go back to Barnes, Kansas, to be a farmer or do anything like that because I didn't have the skills of that. And my grandfather died, so I didn't have really nothing to do, and I didn't want to become a nobody because I didn't fit in already being the only black kid in a 45-mile radius. But they didn't ever look at me as colored. They looked at me as them. They said, "You're one of us," and they accepted me as one of their brothers, and I appreciate that, and I'll never leave their side. But they've always told me, to keep my head up high and keep on walking and striving through life. So, all I did was like, man, I want to be in the military, but, I don't want to be in the Army, Army to me is a bunch of spies, a whole bunch of foot soldiers, but they're holding it down, and they're a whole bunch of gangsters, you know what I'm saying? Real ass gangsters, I wasn't a gangster like that. I just wanted to sit behind a desk and use my mind and think, basically a bitch, So, I didn't want to get down with the get down. So I looked at it, I didn't want to go to the Marines, my brother Anthony would have did the Marines, but we got hit by a semi-truck, and he died, and I preached at his funeral, so that was his dream. So I was like, my dad did the Army, and then my brother was going to do the Marines. So I always wanted to do the Air Force or the Navy. I love water. My whole life, I've been in the water in Hawaii, in Pearl City, and Waipio Waipahu with Stephen King. We always just bodyboard with each other, Waimea Bay. and so we held it down. So I got to experience a lot of things in life because of the military and the brothers. So I wanted to join the cause and what we stood for, our Constitution, and stand for freedom in life, and free will and the freedom to practice religion. So I joined the Navy. There's a lot of things that you could do in the Navy, so I sat down and really thought, it was hard for me to get in the Navy. I fought, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, I would try to get in the Navy. The brothers wouldn't let me in the Navy there, so I thought, well, where's the worst place I could go that I'm from? Detroit, Michigan. So I went back home to Detroit, and I knew, with my skills and with my thinking, my intelligence, that I knew I could get in there, and I did, It took me a year and a half to get in there, but I went back and forth. I had to do all the paperwork myself to get into the Navy, but I did it, because that's what I wanted to do for my dream. So I just kept on going in life, I kept on striving, went back and forth on Greyhound, back and forth on the Greyhound to get all the paperwork and meet recruiters and talk to people, and I got myself in the Navy, not a recruiter. You know what I'm saying? The recruiter didn't help me for shit, you know what I'm saying? But if you want something in life, nobody will help you in life, and that's how you gotta think, and you gotta help yourself, and that's all that matters. So I kept on going, and I finally got myself into the Navy. But what did I want to do when I got into the Navy? And this is what I was thinking. Well, you know what I'm saying? I'm intelligent, so I'm gonna use my mind and let everybody else work for me. That's what I was thinking, So I was like, well, let me be a paper bitch, a personnel specialist, sit around finances, separation, see what everybody else is doing, why people are getting separated out of the military, what's really going on in this world. So I sat down and personal specialist at the desk, and I just sat down, and they put me there. I just said I wanted to be a PS, and I let life take it in hand, and God led me into San Diego, California, and the PSD, 32nd Naval Base, and I sat there at the PSD 32nd Naval Base for a couple years, and I sat down. I opened up a nonprofit organization. Well, my nonprofit organization is called Living Life in the Circle Incorporated, and when I did that, I think a lot of red flags came up. Guess Who's Who magazine got in contact with me. I don't know how they knew who I was. I never even had a phone, we didn't have internet, wasn't on the internet, didn't have a phone, so I don't know how they knew that I had a nonprofit organization. But anyways, Who's Who magazine got in contact with me at work, and they asked me a lot of questions, and they said what secret society I was working for and everything like that. And I just said I wasn't working for anybody, I was just working for God, that I love God, and I was just trying to please God and give all the credit back to God. And that's who I wanted to give my credit back to, was God. And that was that. They went down, they're like, oh, pay $500, and they went all the way down to $50, and I was like, well, no, I don't have $50 at this time, because I didn't have $50 at that time. So after that, after that or whatever, my senses was very alive. I felt like my whole life I felt like I was being watched. My whole life I felt like I was being watched. People that didn't know knew things about me, and I didn't know how they knew things about me. But that's life, what I'm saying? I believed in God's and the Holy Spirit, so I believe the Holy Spirit speaks through people and the vessel of people, and I just got to believe and achieve and a dream and keep on going. So that's what I did to aim for success. So, I kept on going in life, and I was watching everybody in the military. I was helping a lot of Filipinos out doing their homework, as for school, so, and helping them out so they could pass college credits and everything like that. Never wanted money for anything, never ever wanted money for anything, So I was like, this is my brothers. We all serve in the military together, of course. I'm going to help them out if they need help. If they ask for help, I'm gonna help them out, because that's what a good godly man does, is help the next man out, especially when you stand for the same cause. So I was helping my brothers out, and other people were looking at me different or whatever, and all of a sudden, and this might be in my mind because I'm mentally ill, and I did get beat, so I do have a great imagination, so I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to cause any big thing, but what I'm saying, I felt like they thought I was a spy. And when I felt like they thought I was a spy, my senses really started, it started, man, it went up a whole lot, Because, and then I started thinking about, dang, I'm opening up a non-profit organization. My dad got basically laundering money or whatever. I'm next to Mexico. I'm working with Social Security. I started putting all these things together. I'm like, holy shit. I'm from the middle of Kansas. My grandma's a McDonald and a Bartley. I'm from Zabatriski's around Bruna's. I'm around a lot of people that are somebodies. I'm a nobody, but the people that I know and hung around with my life are a somebody in this world. And I'm like, holy shit. My Uncle John McDonald